Okay, everybody, hello and welcome. We are going live. There we are. Much better. So, welcome aboard. It is Tuesday, and look at that. I forgot to plug in my camera. So, let's, wait a minute. That should be going just well. Boom, there it is, right there. Welcome aboard, everybody. Let me get Instagram here in a better place. Hello, Instagram. Hello. Sorry about that. Hopefully I'm coming in loud and clear. I got a couple things happening at once. Instagram, I can't live stream to you with everybody else, but here we are. I'm on all the different channels. Get the camera just oriented just well. Thank you for tuning in. We're going live. It's always interesting when we're going live. And over here on Instagram, I got a lot of headroom. So let me back up. Oh man. Okay. Well, it is the end. It is Mercury retrograde, and so if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a change in different electromagnetic forces around the planet Earth, and therefore also around the human body. We are electromagnetic energy beings. So welcome aboard. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Dr. Kevin Sharina. So what we talk about on Transformation Tuesdays is how our thoughts, our emotions, our physical body, and our life's experiences all go together hand in hand. And in fact, there's internal influences and there's external influences. So if we're coming in loud and clear, give me some hearts, give me some likes, give me some thumbs ups, and let me know that you hear me loud and clear. Also, let me know where you're at in the world. I have people from all over the place. And I'm typing in to the rest of the world, hello and welcome. It's Transformation Tuesday. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that I'm here. I'm glad that I'm alive because I have a mission to share this kind of knowledge with the world. And so, let's see, about 2 or 3 years ago, I started writing the book here, Decode Your Pain, How to Make Sense of Your Symptoms and Start Living Your Best Life. And thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Let me know that I'm coming loud and clear. And so the content was born out of my experiences with my patients and out of my experiences with my own personal healing journey that I needed. Oh, we have Amsterdam in the house. Welcome aboard, Amsterdam. Glad that you're here. And I don't know where everybody else is from, but it was cold. It's bitter cold where I'm at. I'm up here by Philadelphia in the United States of America. And it is brutal cold right now. We even had our first snow of the season, so that's exciting. We like that. But I am with you on Instagram here. I'm going to show you what we're going to be on. We're going to be on page 48 in chapter 4. Right there, page 48, chapter 4. Chapter 4 is You Are Energy. And I start out the conversation with talking about a brief segment in the book. I expand about what is happening with the stories that share around that experience, and then I teach you some tools and tips and tricks to do at home. And I don't want to call it a trick. It's really about how to learn to work with your body, work with your mind, so that then you can take something at home, apply it at home. What's up, Germany in the house? Glad you're here. And when you have these skills, when you have these tools, you can bring yourself back into calm and balance. And that's really what it's all about. Is if our life is full of pain and tragedy and horror and all kinds of different things, well, why would anyone want to live, really? And this is where I found myself, and I feel I found other people I work with in this place. And it's not just about physical pain you have somewhere. Our body is the check engine light of our subconscious state of being. Let me say that again. The check engine light. If you don't drive or if you don't know what I'm talking about, a check engine light is something in an automobile that warns the driver that something's malfunctioning. Something's not operating at 100%. And if it's not operating at 100%, things break down even faster than normally expected. Every physical object on this planet has a lifeline. What's up, everybody? Glad you're tuning in. Today's Tuesday. If you're just joining in, maybe you're joining for the first time, my name is Dr. Kevin Jarina. Every Tuesday night, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, I go on live and we talk about transformation, mind, body, spirit, and soul. Now, if you want to get a hold of me, you go to if you're on Instagram, go to my bio here on the Transformation Community, and you get to drkeving.com. That's the main website. That's the main hub. That's where everything is connected. Now, back to the story. Back to the chapter at hand here. We're talking chapter 4, You Are Energy. And for everyone here at the chat, or in the wrong window, right there we are. I'm going to highlight everybody else what we're talking about. So, here we are. To give you perspective, if the nucleus of an atom was the size of a tennis ball, the electrons orbiting it would occupy the space and size of a football stadium. When you think of it this way, the solid body that we move around in is actually way more empty space than it is anything solid. All this organization of cells and tissue is made up of little atoms and is all held together by these positive and negative forces. For those of you on the other live stream channels, I highlighted the audio, the segment, the chapter, part of the chapter for you. And so what this is saying, when we look at classical science, our body is made up of more empty space than it is physical matter. We have molecules and cells and atoms. And if you look at an atom, the smallest building block that we use to build a cell, which a cell is the smallest living unit of life, and we have 100 trillion of these in our body. These atoms, look at the nucleus, look at the protons, neutrons, and electrons. There's more space between the center, the nucleus, the amount of space in the center compared to where the electrons are flying around is the equivalent of a tennis ball, inside of a football stadium. Now that's a big difference. So what is occupying that other 97% of our physical experience? And these ratios, they actually line up for what we're seeing in distances between planets, between solar systems, between Milky Ways. There's this ongoing ratio. And so I'm going to bring Instagram down here, and I'm going to show you a few things, because what I was going to talk about next is cycles of life. Okay. Now, for everybody at home, I'm going to show you an image, and then I'm going to flip the camera here for everybody on Instagram. And I'm talking about the solar cycles right here. Cycles of life. We are energy. So that was my transition to get from the human body, the cells and the atoms that make up the human body, to get to the big sun, the big glowing ball of life in our sky, the sun. All right. So if you're looking at it here on everybody in Instagram here and everywhere else, what you're seeing here is a map of the sunspot cycles. Okay. Now this, you may not understand why this is important, how it relates to human behavior and human health, but it directly correlates. And what I'm going to point out to everybody is right here. All right. Here's 1950. Here's the year 2000. There's a 50-year cycle right there in yellow. Hopefully you can see that right there. All right, and you can see, I'm going to point at the bottom. It's easier to see in the bottom than it is the top. But at the bottom, you can see there's like this curvature between like the early 1900s and that 2000. There's like a 100-year span of a curvature, and you can see it play out right here, right there. All right. Now, if you go back to the beginning of the chart down here, it's 1600. You can see a general trend downward. And then as you ascend past 1700, there's a general trend upward, light trend downward, then up, and then down, and then up, and then down until we get to our current point. Okay? We are moving into what's called a solar minimum. Now, I don't know about you. Bring back the audience here. There we are. Now, I don't know about you in the audience. When the sun's out, I'm happier. When the sun's out, I want to be outside. When the sun's out, more life is growing. Literally, the plants are growing when the sun is shining more brightly. When we have more light in the day, there's more life expansion. And so, if we're getting into a cycle of life that is showing a low pattern, well, what's happening to life as a whole? Now, if you remember the chart, it's not just happening day by day or month by month or even year by year. We're talking 50-year chunks. A cycle is 11 years, and there's ups and downs within that. And then there's even bigger cycles, ups and downs within that. There's even bigger cycles within that, and that goes up and down. This is also true for the human body. Everyone understands that around the early teenage years, men become men and women become women. The hormones kick in, the body starts to formulate testosterone and estrogen, and the hormones happen, and everyone starts getting interested in the opposite sex. Literally, the ability to have children is becoming on board, and that cycle lasts for 30, 40 some odd years. And then when that cycle ends, women go through menopause and men go through andropause. That's right, men go through a menopause as well. It's called andropause. So that being said, that's a big cycle for human life. If you go even smaller, we have, and I'll show this to everybody on board here on the live stream, and then right here on Instagram, I'll show you, I'll flip it around. We even have day by day cycles. All right, so if you look here at 6 a.m. in the morning, the large intestine is most active. At 8 a.m. the stomach's most active. At 10 a.m. the spleen and the heart and the small intestine. It goes in these 2-hour clips of activity and then relaxation. See, the beautiful thing about the day by day cycle is that every part of the body is getting energy, is cleansing, and then it's shifting it through. If that cycle gets stuck somewhere because of some type of interference, because of some type of pollution, because of some type of experience, then that cycle gets interrupted and there's a malfunction in that cycle, and then we feel a symptom, a pain, an illness, a disease, a sickness shows up that can be diagnosable by any medical professional. It's labeled as some type of illness, and then you're prescribed a synthetic petroleum-based pharmaceutical. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if I've said something you've never heard before, a petroleum-based synthetic chemical, that's what pharmaceuticals are. I'm not saying they don't change symptoms, but I'm saying is they're petroleum-based synthetic chemicals. That's a true fact. Now, the question is, well, why does someone having to have the need to be diagnosed and then therefore prescribed a pharmaceutical? Well, there's only really a couple of reasons. That's right, petroleum based. Check it out. Well, there's only two reasons why people have illnesses, diseases, sicknesses, infirmities. The body's not getting what it needs, meaning that's called a deficiency, or the body is polluted with toxins, or some combination of both, typically. Now, let me pause there for a minute. I dropped some heavy bombs on some people. You maybe never heard these things before in your life. There we are, back on board. So if you've never heard these things, give me, let's type in I need some answers, all right? If you heard something that resonated, if you heard some truth in there, hashtag truth, type that in there, all right? Let me know what's going on, because if people don't wake up, people don't understand that these things are going on in our world and we're ingesting them, we're putting them in our body, we're unconsciously polluting ourselves from things that we thought we could trust. Now, I'm going to read some of these comments real quick. Okay, Quota, good question, good question. Okay, so I'm going to steer away. Let me read the question, and I'm going to steer away from the question, and yet give you an answer at the same time. Does petroleum-based drugs target the bacteria and the human? Hopefully I'm interpreting that question correctly. Does the petroleum-based drugs target the bacteria and the human? Well, these medications, these pharmaceuticals, they do a job in which they typically do a job in which they're prescribed to do. They have the ability to kill things. That's correct. Bacteria and other things. However, why? Question I want to ask you is, why is the bacteria present in the first place? You see, everyone around you who's living in the same environment, many of them may not have that bacteria. Well, why is that? There's some fascinating stories around this type of topic. And so there was a number of, we'll call them case studies. I'm not going to call them clinical controlled blind studies, but with these case studies, there would be brothers and sisters living in the same environment, eating the same food, working in the same facilities. Yet one gets sick, one comes down with disease, and the other one is perfectly healthy. What is the difference? It comes down to the mind, the body, the spirit, and the soul. All right, there's 4 major factors when you look at any human being, any living object: mind, body, spirit, soul. Mind is physical. Excuse me, the body parts are physical. The mind is that mental, emotional. The spirit is that what gives you juice. What is that heart calling? And that soul, well, that comes from that non-physical place that we can say, well, whatever, I don't know what your belief systems are, but however, there's something here that is beyond this physical world. There's a part of us that, and this is where pretty much everything spiritual, everything religious lean towards and discussing, whether or not you're on board with what they say, whether or not you are in the full belief of any system out there, that's besides the point. There's endless number of studies, endless number of books, endless number of personal experiences that we can talk about, we can share, that relate these experiences, mind, body, spirit, and soul. So with that being said, yes, there are dispositions, genetic dispositions, yet genes get turned on and off. Look at the science called epigenetics. Internal immunology. Yes, internal immunology. How do we influence the immune system to function properly? Well, the immune system needs certain nutrients, needs certain minerals, needs certain living elements. I call them bioelements. And it needs proper neurologic input. Okay? Viral mitosis. Well, viral mitosis. Mitosis has to do with the splitting of the cells, and viral mitosis. Oh, viral mitosis, that would be the virus itself splitting and replicating. Well, viral mitosis, well, by the way, if you have the proper immune system function, you have a proper nutritional profile, you have a proper mineral input, and you have the right amount of herbs in your environment, which nature always provides wherever you're living, you can handle any virus, any bacteria, any fungus, any parasite. Period. I have the research for it. Yes, epigenetics. That's right. Pro Quota, you got a lot of stuff to check out. I'm happy that you're here tonight. Go to the link in the bio. Go to the description in my bio. Go to drkeving.com. Start reading. Start looking at the resources. Looking at different things that I can share with you. There's free e-courses. There's free positivity courses. There's resources where I get the science from. By all means, dive right in. So let's pull this back full circle, okay? I don't know. You sent me a link about optogenetics. Never heard that before. Okay. So cycles of life. The sun is going through cycles, all right? And there's periods that are 1 year long. That's why we get our 4 seasons. Every season is followed by the next season. The summer is followed by the fall by the winter by the spring, and the spring back into summer. It's perfect. It always continues. There's human cycles. There's day-by-day cycles. I showed you the body clock. This is well established in traditional Chinese medicine. A written history of more than 5,000 years. Way steeper than our current allopathic, aka medical system, aka pharmaceutical, the lobby, pharmaceutical, big agro, big insurance industry, all kind of one thing, really. It's one big animal. And what they want to do is have you focus on symptoms and symptom nullification, meaning get rid of the symptoms. Yet no one's talking about how do we nurture ourselves so we can shift through these cycles real importantly. So the question becomes, why am I talking about these cycles so much today? Well, we started a new cycle. We started new cycles. 2018, 19, 20 is a huge shift. Come 2024, another huge shift. See, us humans, we've gotten so used to instant gratification. We got so used to what's happening today, what's happening tomorrow. We don't know how 10 years ago. We don't know how 27 years ago. We don't know how 150 years ago. We don't understand how 500 years ago affects today. Because it does. It does. So we have human cycles. We have planetary and solar cycles. We have universal cycles. And it's this ever encompassing cycle on top of cycle, top of cycle, top of cycle. All right, boy, I wish I had a big diagram board behind me, and I do. I have one over there, and we'll do that another day. But why is this important now? Because why am I talking about this? I'm talking about Transformation Tuesday. I'm talking about mind, body, spirit, soul. We talk about we are energy, okay? And then we have these cycles that are going on, and we're living in it. We're living in it. It's like trying to tell a fish that the water is there, right? The fish has always been in it. It doesn't even know it's anything different, but it's like you and me going, oh, there's air. There's air around me. And I want to get out of it. It's just there. So what's going on now is that there's cycles that I completed from 37 years ago, and we're launching into a new cycle of 37 years. There's a cycle of 1 month that's completing, and we're going to another month. There's a cycle of 6 months, and we're going to a 6 month. And this is timed by the position and pattern of the moon and the sun. And we can look at other planets as well. But all these planets have electromagnetic qualities. And so when we shift the alignment of these solar structures, well, it shifts the electromagnetic forces on our sun, on our planet, on our weather, on the human body, on all of nature. And so in my practice, when I'm working with people, I work with I'm a doctor of chiropractic, I'm an herbalist, I'm a life coach mentor, I'm an author, I'm an energy healer. Yes, I do Reiki, two-time Reiki master. I study a third Reiki form, and then I'm certified in reconnective healing, although more studying to do there. And then I have a natural gift. Study a lot in my life, and I have natural affinity towards the healing arts. So that being said, when I'm working with people, it's very, very, very interesting hearing everyone's stories and how, and I'm relating them to my studies. When I hear what's happening with the solar planetary shifts, aka the solar weather report, when I hear this weather report and I hear the trauma and drama and successes and wins in people's lives, boy, I can see the pattern in their lives. I can see how they're working and adapting. And if we don't have the necessary ingredients in our physical body, the right nutrition, the right education, the right principles of how to ask questions. And when I say education, the reason I paused what I said there was when I say education, I don't mean school. I don't mean university, although that can be helpful, and in most times it's detrimental. So if we don't have the proper supply to the mind, the body, spirit, and the soul, if we don't have the proper nourishment, if we don't have the proper purification, then when we have these shifts from the external environment, it's hard for us to adapt. And if you can't adapt, you die. Period. That's Hans Selye. The general adaptive, well, it's called general adaptive stress syndrome. Okay. When you look at Hans Selye, he was the first person to truly describe what's called the stress response. The stress response goes through a couple of phases. First, there's an alarm, meaning you detect something in your environment. Your body has to respond. That's where you get that stress hormone kick in, and the blood gets pumping, the hands start sweaty, the mind starts racing, things happen. And then if it's a safe environment, your body will calm back down, go back into relaxation stage. If there is a battle ensuing, or if there's a stressor in your experience, well then the body is ready to go and amped to respond. If you stay in that stress response too long, you deplete your resources and you go into cell death. So that means if you're stressed for too long, too intensely, you lose your resources and you begin to get sick, you begin to get issues, you get diagnosed with some type of disorder or disease. If you cannot get to a place of peace, if you cannot recover, if you cannot give your body the necessary ingredients to function, well, you shrivel up and die, essentially. It's pretty intense. I know. I like intensity. I like depth. If you're getting some value here, type in #value. Give me some hearts. Let people know that this is happening. Share it, because look, I've been doing these lives every Tuesday night for not quite a year, but getting close to a year now. And there's more content. I'm getting better at content. The delivery's getting better. So I know I'm still working on making it all sexy and everything. However, the material here is strong. The material here is not what you're getting in mainstream media. The material here is not what you're getting from what your trusted healthcare practitioners are telling you. See, I come from the camp that is trying to be murdered, essentially, trying to be snuffed out by the mainstream, because people in my field, people with my type of education, actually get people well. No drugs, no surgery. We fill the need, which would cause the need for the drug or the surgery. And we have to address it physically, mental, emotionally, nutritionally, spiritually. There's all kinds of research that talks about when people are missing those things or they're polluted with those things, how the body breaks down, how the mind breaks down, how relationships break down, how life breaks down. So when you can feed those areas appropriately, I don't just mean food. Food's a fun topic. Maybe I'll talk about this sometime soon. But really, almost, even if you're eating organic, it is nothing like the organic food 100 years ago. It's so deficient. And even now, there's moves here in the United States. Basically, you can label polluted soil, and the vegetables that grow out of soil, you can label those vegetables organic because they didn't touch a pesticide, yet they grew up in polluted soil. I'm disgusted. However, yes, there's importance. Yes, there's purpose to all this. Yes, we want to eat and feed ourselves well, but at the end of the day, our spirit, our soul, our true essence of what makes us what is non-physical. It comes from the spiritual place. I am a spiritual being. There's so many stories I could share. There's so many synchronicities I could share. In fact, when there is synchronicity in life, there is something that you are on the right path. And so I want to point that out to you. So if you found me here tonight, well, congratulations. There's something you're doing, I believe, is on the right path. And that means you're trying to break through to find truth. See, everything I do is born on the foundation of I need to find some truth in my life. This has been more than a 20-year practice. Thanks for your commentary, Pro Quota. Appreciate you joining us. It is now 5:30. I'm going to wrap up the transmission. So let me share where you can get some resources from me. Number one, drkeving.com. All right, this is where I've built the foundation. All right, on there you get a free positivity e-course, because your mind influences your entire body. It influences everything that you think, do, act, and feel. If you're not at peace, well, nothing inside you is at peace. I can promise you that. Now, that's the free positivity e-course. There's 3 or 4 emails with that one. It's phenomenal. One of my friends wrote that. His name's Michael Gross. He's one of the best. He's the wingman's path to positivity, and that is an awesome practice. He's got a huge following going because he's been consistent every day for more than a year and a half, I believe. And it's awesome to watch him share positivity with everybody. A 1-minute practice every day. We wrote the beginning of that positivity course there for you. Now, if you also go to the website, there's free resources. There's free affirmations. There's free articles, of course, lots of content, videos to help break you from the matrix, to help break you from the system that is essentially enslaving you. I hope that you can free yourself. I hope that something here inspired you. I hope that something here is helping you feed the need that your body is desperately calling out to you for via pains and symptoms, diseases and disorders. And I wrote that fairly deeply here on the book Decode Your Pain. And the last thing, oh my goodness, I totally forgot to announce it, but every Wednesday, we're in beta version of this right now, and every Wednesday we're doing a live quantum healing. Groups of holistic practitioners like myself getting online, healing people that are being on board to this system called Synergy Solutions. Right now, if you have any interest in quantum healing, if you know that you would benefit from some type of quantum healing, regardless of where you are in the world, this is remote, meaning it's under the principle, it's under the understanding that all of us are connected at some level. Now, I'm not going to come out there and reach you and crack a bone or anything like that or stretch a muscle. However, there's patterns of energy that influences your physical and mental structures. These can be addressed anywhere in the world, wherever you are in the world. And this is what we do Wednesdays at 12 o'clock noon Eastern. And it's been very, very intriguing. I do have some trailers we've made for that, although I didn't prepare myself to show it to you just now. So I apologize on that. If you want details, please private message me. Yes, hashtag quantum healing is exactly right. So, mind, body, spirit, soul, total transformations is where we are moving. So thank you for tuning in. I'm Dr. Kevin Jarina. If you need any questions answered, I will help point you in the right direction. If I can give you any content for free, I'll happily send that along. I will even send you the first chapter of my book for free, and as much content as I can give you, because I just want to help you. I live my life by a principle, the rising tide principle. All ships rise with the tide. So if I can do something good for you, this means somehow it's coming back to help me. And I appreciate that, because I've received a lot of help in my life, and I keep wanting to pay it forward. So blessings and best regards. I'm Dr. Kevin. Thanks for tuning in.